So today I have just a few things. We're actually going to do some programming as well, which is not normal. I want to teach you the nice way that you don't have to calculate angles to draw stuff for your programming assignment. So I'll show you that at the end today. So yeah, let's first talk about social media. Yay. A lot of stuff going on in these slides. So yeah, let us begin our discussion with social media. It's very popular these days. Oh wow, it looks like my Office updated itself. That's interesting. I lost all my nice colors. There we go. So yeah, we use social media, probably most of us in this class, and I just want to show you how so many things. Oh wow, it really changed things. Let me change the thickness as well. Is that better? There we go. I think the other one needs to be like that too. Everything got reset. So many things. There we go. So many things are public. Things that you post, maybe you don't even know that your Facebook profile is visible by other people. Maybe you forgot to hide everything. Go check. But a lot of things are public, maybe more than we thought, and that leads to some problems, right? So let's talk about some issues that are affecting social media today. Try to answer that question, and then just this last question, we should always be trying to critically think as we use our social media platforms of choice. Okay? So besides the essay question from the midterm, let's talk about some other things that are going on with social media. First thing, this is from the book. You can find that there. Employers, or potential employers, they get to monitor you, right, when you're at work, especially if you post things places maybe you shouldn't be posting. So, yeah, this is really weird. At work, if you have a job and you're sitting in front of a computer, whatever you do, doesn't matter if you're using social media, you can be on any website, you can be doing whatever you want. Everything that you do on that computer can be monitored constantly, okay? Somebody can record everything that's happening on your screen without you knowing about it, okay? So let's see, what could happen? Somebody can come in and look at your screen, your employer can, with help from the IT department. They can track everything that you type on your keyboard. Very easy to do. Track all the stuff, including your passwords. Track all the stuff you type on your keyboard. And then, of course, I'm sure you've heard of things like people getting fired for like letting their laptops go to sleep most of the workday. Like, here's your window. You gotta like jiggle the mouse, right? Or something. So that is all visible. Your computer can be constantly monitored by your employer. And if you think about it, like this was not, this kind of fine-grained control over what your employees were doing, this wasn't really possible before computers, right? You were just doing stuff with some files. If you looked busy, it looked like you were working. Now somebody can really monitor your screen and see exactly what you're doing and confirm that you're actually doing stuff, okay? That's weird. Different, okay? And also, if you're trying to get a job, like potential employers, they can just search for you nowadays, right? They can Google you, Google your name, find your social media accounts. It's unfortunate because I think there's apparently one other person with my exact name in the world, and they have a Twitter account, and that's not me, which is very sad. So yeah, people might think that I'm accidentally that person. It's not fun. So yeah, interviewers, they can Google you, they can find all your social media accounts, and maybe you should make sure they're all private, right? So here are some examples from the textbook that are kind of interesting, weird to think about. Oh gosh, what's going on here? There we go. So, okay, example one. A school district ended up firing a teacher because she posted a photo of herself drinking in a bar to her social media, and that was apparently visible to the world, which is weird. Why would that cause someone to get fired? But I don't know. Maybe it was some kind of religious school or something. I don't know all the details, but maybe all the parents complained or something like that. But a school district ended up firing a teacher because of that. That was something that definitely wasn't possible before social media, right? Crazy. This is kind of funny. A sheriff fired, I guess the deputy sheriff is right below the sheriff, right? A sheriff fired the deputy for liking a Facebook campaign page of somebody else who was going to try and run against the sheriff in the next election. And they saw that on their profile, and they fired them. Because obviously they're trying to get them to not have a job anymore. Which again, I mean, you're, what's it called, at-will employment. You can be fired anytime for any reason. It's not a problem. It's not illegal to do that. But at the same time, don't you have a right to free speech? Shouldn't you be allowed to keep your job by doing that? So there's a whole can of worms there that just really never existed before social media was a thing, right? People kind of kept their opinions to themselves. Nothing was all on blast like it is these days on social media. Are there any questions, comments about that? Do we have any fun stories? That's weird to think about. We can be constantly monitored in this digital age that we live in. So sad. All right. What else have we seen? Lots of old people. I remember they liked to post this back in the day. It's like, Facebook does not have my permission to share photos or messages, that kind of thing. You ever see that before? Maybe your parents. But that, just posting that on your Facebook account means nothing. It's not legally binding. It does nothing at all because you gave Facebook permission to, like, use your photos as machine learning tools, harvest your messages to try and help some sort of algorithm that they're working on. You gave them all that just by using their service, right? What's it called? It was the terms of service, right? The terms of service of Facebook, they allow this. Does anybody actually go and read the terms of service before they sign up for an account for something? Anybody? I don't. But this kind of stuff is baked away. Like, you give them all the rights to whatever you post on Facebook. Interesting. All right. So that's more social media madness. Oh no, I lost my rainbow as well. Let's fix that. There we go. So that's Facebook. You give them so many things. Should they be allowed to take that kind of stuff? Maybe we should have better rights on the internet to our data. Here's another fun example. I like to use Duolingo. It's fun for me just to learn random languages. But back in the day when Duolingo first came out, it's kind of sad how this happened, but Duolingo used to be all high and mighty and say that we are not going to make money through ads. We're not going to show you a single ad. We are going to make our money through a translation service. I don't know if we were all on Duolingo when this was a thing. This was right when it came out. But what they did was they let, like, newspapers, anybody who wants something translated, they were allowed to post their stuff, and they gave, like, the same sentence in their article to a bunch of language learners. Maybe they wanted to translate it from Spanish to English, and so they gave their Spanish article, like a sentence from it, to a bunch of Spanish language learners on Duolingo. And every learner who was trying to practice, of course, they took that sentence and then they translated it, right? They made a translation. And so you gave that same sentence. Duolingo ended up giving that same sentence to, like, 100 people or something. And if enough people agreed on what the sentence should be in English, they gave that back to the people who were asking for the translation. They're like, this is a human translation. This is the correct one. And they were able to sell that. That was their translation service. Okay? That's kind of nice. But, of course, they needed more money. And so now they got rid of all that. And now Duolingo makes their money by showing you ads. Or if you buy the Duolingo Pro or whatever that is. But yeah, again, this is kind of like social media, right? You're not being tracked anywhere. The company used to make money by kind of like using your desire to learn a language, which is kind of nice. So this kind of gets at the idea of, how do companies make money? This is a free Facebook account. This is a free Duolingo account. It obviously costs money to have the website and have all the storage space for all of our accounts. How do they make their money? For Duolingo, now it's ads. For Facebook, now it's ads, and also taking your photos and things. That's something I want to get you thinking about. That's another topic for today, okay? So let's go to the granddaddy of all of this entire idea of ads. Let's talk about Google, okay? How does Google make its money? Do we know? I mean, it's on this slide, but have we seen that idea before? Have you heard about this? Like, Google is a free website we use. We search for things. We click enter and we get nice results. And that's all free for us. Why is that free? How are they making their money? Why are they giving that to us to use for free as well? And the secret is, Google is not at all a search company. It is an ad company. That's how they make their money. They make their money by showing you ads at the top of all your searches, right? The vast majority, I'm thinking like in the 90% range, if not more, the vast majority of Google's revenue, this is all public information because they're a public company, go look it up, it comes from selling ads to people who are trying to search for things. I'm sure you've seen a bunch of sponsored results at the top when you search for something on Google Maps or just on Google Search, okay? So that is a little scary. So they are an ad company, really, and they're trying to make money. So that's going to dictate how they give you information, how they show you things, how they let you use their service. So if they would like to make as much money as possible, they need to get people to click on the ads that they sell, right? They sell other people ad space, and they make money every time somebody clicks on that ad. So what does that mean for you? That's what you need to be thinking about whenever you use a free service, especially, okay? So at least as far as Google is concerned, really what that means for you is you probably end up seeing results up at the top of the page that are sponsored, but maybe not what you were looking for. They were ads. You might, unless you use an ad blocker, you might end up seeing, let's say, worse results, right? You might see worse results, things that you're not really looking for, but like match the criteria of the ad. You might see worse results at the top of your page. Not what you were looking for. Worse results at the top of the page. Because they're really trying to convince you that the top of the page is what you were looking for. But maybe you have to scroll down to get to the non-sponsored stuff, the stuff that you were really looking for. At the top of the page. Does that make sense? Any questions about that idea? Very odd. But that is the truth behind Google. Now you know. They make their billions. Apple, though, think about other companies that are not backed by ads. What does Apple do? How do they make their money? They give you a free operating system. They give you a free for the phone and also for your computers. Apple makes their money by selling hardware. They have no incentive to show you ads, do they? Interesting. So I'm sure we've all heard like Apple really cares about your privacy. They're doing so much for your privacy. It makes sense for them to advertise that idea, right? It makes sense for them to care more about your privacy because they're not making any money from like sharing all your data with the world yet, at least. Okay? They're just a hardware company. I encourage you to do the same thing for Microsoft. Go see how they make their money. It's usually Windows licenses, Office licenses, things like that. So yeah, when in doubt, follow the money. That's one thing I want you to get used to doing especially when you sign up for a free service. Why is it free? There's a reason it's free, right? So with that, here's the moral of this story. When a service is free, you are the product. You, the user of that free service, okay? Everything that you didn't read about in the terms of service was enumerating all the things that they get to do, right? All the things that they're taking from you. All your information from Facebook, right? Your search history from Google. All that stuff is being captured. It's being taken. Every time you search for something, maybe it's being saved away. It's being captured and it's being sold to somebody else. That is harvestable data that is useful to somebody who wants to eventually sell you something. Okay? They know how to make money in some way. All right? And all of that stuff, all of those ideas, all of those things that they're taking from you are spelled out, and you agree to them taking them from you, right, in the terms of service that you click yes on, right? So does anyone actually read them? I don't think we do. So there's this nice, very wonderful website called tosdr.org. It's in the style of that TLDR, if you've heard that before. Too long, didn't read. This is short for Terms of Service, didn't read. So somebody very nice has made this website, and I encourage you to go there. I'm going to force you to go there on the next slide at least anyway. So go to tosdr.org, and there's this wonderful, wonderful website that has just kind of highlighted all the kinds of things that the terms of service for these free websites have in them. Okay, all these things that you agreed to but didn't know about, they actually go and read the terms of service for you and spell out all the good stuff and all the bad stuff. Okay, so if you scroll down, they have different companies and they rate them. Like grade E is probably the worst possible grade. So there's Facebook, Amazon, grade E, Reddit, grade E, Wikipedia, grade B. Ooh, very nice, much better. I don't know if there's anybody with grade A. I guess DuckDuckGo, that privacy first search engine, grade A, YouTube, grade E, all these, even Khan Academy, which I'm forcing you to use for your extra credit, grade E in terms of what it's talking about here. So yeah, there's a lot of things here, a lot of companies, and there's plenty more where that's from. But here's what I want you to do. Here's my challenge for you. Here's my activity for us. Please go to this website, get in peer instruction groups, go to this website, and then also search Google for random number between 1 and 8, and that's the company I want you to look at as a group. So my random number between 1 and 8 is apparently 3, and so I would go 1, 2, 3, and I would look at Reddit. Does that make sense? That's how we'll number these things and have other groups do other things. So I will look at Reddit, I'll click on Reddit, and I'll read all these things. Oh gosh, you sign away moral rights, whatever that means. The service can read your private messages. Oh gosh. So you'll scroll down, you read all these things. Some things are green, some things are nice. But there's yellow things, red things, and gray things. Interesting. So you'll read all this. You'll laugh at it. And then you will write down 2 things, at least 2 things, please, on our class Google Doc that you didn't expect. 2 things you didn't know about that company before. So I'll go there and clear out the page for you, but you know the drill. So pick a random company to evaluate, click on it on that website, and then we will discuss. Does that make sense? Should be a fun activity. But yeah, go to tosdr.org, and yeah, the things that you discover could be good or bad. It's okay. Just explain yourself, please. Have fun with this. I'll give you a few minutes. We should have plenty of time. I'll give you 5 minutes to read and discuss and write. I think I heard somebody say the word moral rights. That is, that's a legal term. You should search for it. It means something specific. I'll search for it too. All right, one more minute. Get some stuff down, please. Ten more seconds. All right. Let's come back. I hope that was enjoyable to read all the horrible things that companies do. Let's see what we saw. All right. Your data may be processed and stored anywhere in the world. Locations not specified. That's fun. Don't know which one that was, but a lot of companies can do that. They just move stuff around between data centers, including in countries where we might not enjoy good relations with the government, right? So maybe they want to look at some U.S. citizens' things, and they probably can. They can get a warrant, maybe easier in a different country. That's something to worry about. Here's one from Reddit. If you post your work on Reddit, they own it. You have signed away your moral rights. That's fun. So I wonder if you can even make money from your comments at that point. Like, they're not copyrightable by you anymore. Most sites only delete content that doesn't meet their guidelines, but Reddit can delete your content without a reason. Yeah, you just have to anger one of the moderators, right? And then they'll get rid of your stuff. So that is fun. DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo is one of the few sites that probably has that grade A. So I'm glad one group got to look at DuckDuckGo. Maybe that was convincing enough to have you try it. But yeah, does not track you. It's a search engine. It's wild that you can have a search engine that doesn't track somebody. Provides archives of their terms of service. Doesn't track you. Doesn't force you to register anything. I'm not sure how they make their money. Maybe through ads as well, but at least they're not trying to serve you targeted ads by tracking you across the internet or something. No clue. That's something we can look into. Ignores the do not track header. Yeah, some websites or some browsers allow you to say, hey, please don't track me, and just force all the websites to adhere to that. This website, apparently, whatever it was, does not care about that one. Great. It's going to track you anyway. Khan Academy, you have to use your legal name, which has definitely some issues. Promises will be kept after merger/acquisition. Yeah, I didn't know that. Did Khan Academy get bought by somebody, some large company? They always like to change things when they do that. When they get bought out, it's no fun. Quora. I don't really use Quora all that much, but I see that in Google searches. Usually Quora results are not the best. But they keep your information, just like a social media site. Track you on other websites. YouTube may use your personal information for marketing purposes. Yay. That's no fun. So if you make a good channel, they can probably use your channel without your consent. They can make videos about you, make ads about you. Yeah, Khan Academy, that's too bad, yeah. We didn't expect it to be such a low grade. What grade did Khan Academy get? Was it the lowest? Did I pass it? Oh, there it is. Yeah, I did get the lowest. Wow. That's no fun. And yeah, it's free. They need money. Maybe they're doing it in a bad way. One more from YouTube. They use your browser history, including voice and audio info. Wow. Hopefully you can just turn that off, but some browsers, maybe it's on by default. That's not good. Can disclose personal info without informing you. Great. So yeah, if you have some stuff that somebody asks about, maybe a government, law enforcement, they can just give it to them without telling you that they were asked for it. So yeah, that's fun stuff. What's one of these way down here that wasn't between A? Let's look at Apple. Apple is also grade E. Oh no. Content you post may be edited by the service for any reason. I assume this is like your iCloud stuff. They can delete your photos without any reason. Collect, use, and share location data. So they're not so much better. I don't know what they're doing with your personal data. But they claim to be so privacy friendly, right? But again, they're being graded quite poorly by this website. Interesting. So yeah, definitely play around with this website. It's got more than just these large companies, I think. You can search. There's a bunch of ratings here. Search for a service. There's plenty more, but yeah, that was a couple. Any questions about that? The fun little activity, I hope. Okay. I don't have a ton more things before we go to Python, but the last thing that I want to say about social media, now that we're maybe very afraid of it, is that all the things that we would like to have on social media, the nice things, are kind of hard to make happen. So let's use Twitter and Facebook as an example. Here are some screenshots I took. It's very easy to get around censorship. Like some websites are required to censor some things, or they advertise that they do. They censor hate speech, any tweets that incite violence or things like that. They try and, especially if like you're a news corporation, they try and make sure you're not lying. They try to fact check you. All those things, hate speech, all that kind of stuff, very, very hard to censor. Because you essentially need to have a human look at everybody's tweet. And there's a billion tweets a second or so, right? There's so many. It's very hard. It's very hard to sort through tons of posts, because there's so many posts happening every second by humans and non-humans, right? To find all the bad stuff. It's impossible to find everything. Some bad tweets, for example, are going to go get through the cracks, get through the automated censorship services. But those things are getting better every day. It's a current research topic in machine learning, for example, to make a machine learning algorithm to figure out, hey, is this tweet bad? Is it angry? Is it trying to incite violence? Is there hate speech somewhere in this tweet? Stuff like that. And the models are getting better every day. We'll talk about that a little bit more maybe when we talk about machine learning later in the class. But yeah, it's really hard to stop bad things that you would hope never was on like a Twitter website or a Facebook website, sadly. So for example, Trump was banned from Twitter, and I don't think he's back still, right? But here was a tweet before the ban, like this is pretty obviously inciting violence. And then Facebook was back before, this was like the 2020 election, I took this screenshot, I think. They decided to ban new political advertisements. So it was so hard to block lies or other uncensorable things, they just gave up and were like, we're just not going to allow any political advertisements at all now. Okay? And they caught flack for that as well. Okay? So that was no fun. But yeah, this is the darker side of the internet, I guess. The darker side of social media that exists that we should mention. Any questions about that? All right. So yeah, the last thing that I wanted to do today is have a little mini programming lecture within our non-programming lecture. Yeah. So I would like I'd like to teach you how to use that goto function that I was hinting at about in our last Python lecture. So how can we turn our corners easier? Like what if we wanted to plot this weird looking triangle that was not equilateral, that does not like have straight lines anywhere with respect to an axis? How can we do that? Because it's got this weird angle, this other weird angle that's not the same, this third weird angle that's again not the same. How do we figure all this stuff out without using trigonometry? The answer is goto. The answer is using the fact that there really is a coordinate system to our advantage. Okay? Excuse me. So yeah, let's open up Python. And by Python, I mean idle. I don't know if I've ever told you this, or if I'm ever going to tell you this in a future lecture, but Python is not named after a snake. It's named after Monty Python, the comedy group, if you've heard of that. And so there's a lot of like hidden Easter eggs in all of their code, and idle is the last name of one of the members of that group. That's why they call it that. So in case you were wondering, now you know. But let's make a new folder for today, and a new file in that folder as well. I'll call this, I guess, just goto.py or something. What do I want to call it? The lecture 15 is what we're in. Okay. So I'll save that away for us so that we can access it later. There we go. And the function name is called goto, so I'll just call this goto.py. There we go. And so let's go to, no pun intended, Python turtle. Close out of that. Close out all these, I guess. So this is the documentation page for the turtle library. There's a lot of stuff that we've already talked about, like forward and backward, left and right. Go-to is the next one. You could also say set pause or set position. Those are all the same. The turtle library gives you many options. Just like you can say turtle.pause to get your current position, you can set the position with go-to. Be like go-to x, y. Go-to 100, 200 or something. I don't know. But yeah, here's the idea. The turtle will respond to the go to a certain coordinate command. You say turtle.goto, and then you give those coordinates. Within parentheses, the turtle, remember, begins its life at 0, 0 in the middle of the window. So that's where the turtle begins its life, that's 0, 0. And then you can always print your current position with turtle.pause to check where you are. But assuming you plan ahead of time, you can just create coordinates, places that you want your turtle to stop at, and that will be a lot easier than picking or trying to calculate angles. Okay? So you can say turtle.goto, some xy coordinate, turtle.setPause, some xy coordinate, or turtle.setPosition, some xy coordinate. That's my hint for your programming assignment. Just imagine the letter that you want to draw is enclosed within a rectangle, figure out the bounds of that rectangle, and then try and calculate where you want the pieces of that letter that live inside of that rectangle to be. Okay? So choose the width and height of your letter, and then use that to calculate what coordinates for your turtle to go to. Okay? So for example, maybe I want to draw, I don't know, my initials again. I want the L over here, the N over here. My hint to you is think of it this way. Think of a rectangle bounding your letter. So both of them. And then figure out what coordinates the important pieces of that letter live at, which are going to involve what are the corners of this rectangle, like what's this corner, at least for the L. Same for the N, right? Figure out all these coordinates. Those are just the corners. If you have a letter that is very blocky, or that is like curvy, like if you have a B in your name or something, or a C, you can just draw it like this if you'd like to make it easier on yourself. I'm not going to force you to learn the turtle.circle command to make curvy things. But if you'd like to, I encourage you to look at it. Before I forget, I think it is just called turtle.circle. So there it is. This draws a circle with a radius, but it doesn't draw an entire circle. You can give how big you want it to be. So think about that if you need it. But back to go-to. All right. Yeah, so the idea is figure out what these coordinates are. This is like x1, y1. This is like x2, y2, x3, y3. You can draw it backwards like this. Just makes the turtle go here, then go here, then go here. With its tail down, it'll just slide on over and draw straight lines in between. Okay? So that is how I encourage you to draw your stuff. So with that, let's plan out my initials again, but in a different way, in this coordinate-based way. So I definitely want my initials centered on the screen, so let's do like y equals 0. Let's center it around the y equals 0 line, and then I'll draw my L. I'll try my best to make a straight line. I'll draw my L. And then I want some space, right? And then I'll draw my N of the same width and height. Boop. 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 And now all I have to do is figure out what these coordinates should be. Let's say, I don't know, I would like the height of this all to be 200, right? That's what we did last time, I think. And then it was 125 for the bottom, for the width, right, for both of these. And so this was 125 as well. This was also 200 up here. Okay, that's cool. Let's think of our bounding rectangles now. Got all this going on. That's 125, 200 up top. All we have to do now is pick our starting coordinate. So I want this to be like centered around 200. So like if this is y equals 0, this better be y equal 100, right? And I'm not sure where I want it to be, but at least the y of this can be 100, right? If I want it centered, it has to be y equals 100, right? If it's 200 tall. And then let's just say I want it to the left a little bit. Let's say like this is negative 200, 100. The second I fix this coordinate, the entire rest of this drawing is complete, right? Let's say that this is like 50 distance away. I can calculate every single corner of my letters now, right? I can do it like this. This is, well, it's the same x-coordinate, negative 200, but it's 200 down in the bottom, right? The y-coordinate is decreased by 200, so it's negative 100. Negative 200, negative 100. This is, well, it's the same y-coordinate, so it's going to be negative 100, but it's 125 more in the positive x direction, so it's going to be negative 75, 75, and then negative 100. And then this part of the n is going to be, well, same negative 100 in the y, but it moved over in the positive x direction by 50 from negative 75, so this is going to be negative 25. Yeah? Negative 25, negative 100. This is a lot easier to calculate than angles. And then this one, this is still negative 25 on the x, but it's positive 100 now on the y. And then from there, we need to go to here, right? This is going to be negative 25 plus 125. That's going to be positive 100 on the x, and then negative 100 for the y, because they're all down here. This is all y equals negative 100 line, right? This is the y equals 100 line. And then this one, finally, is at x equals 100 from this one. And then y equals 100 as well. So those are all the coordinates of my initials. Okay, I didn't have to calculate angles because I can use goto. Let me show that to you. Import turtle. I definitely want the turtle to look like a turtle, so turtle.shape, turtle as a string. And then the rest is as you would expect. So the turtle is going to start its life at 0, 0, but I want him to go up here, right? I'll draw the L in this way, like first up here, then down here, then over here. So I'll start the turtle at negative 200, 100. So turtle.goto, negative 200, 100. This is draw the L. Then from 200, 100, we go to negative 200, negative 100. Then we go to negative 75, negative 100. So we want it to go in order, right? Negative 100. Okay, so that's essentially going to draw the L. There's one thing I forgot, though. Let's watch it. Let's notice the error. Whee! So that draws the L, but it also draws this weird line to the start of the L. We don't want that. Right? The turtle starts with his tail down, so let's pick him up before we get to the spot that we need to start drawing at. Then once we're there, we can put him back down. Okay, that'll fix it. Rerun, and that draws the L. Just go to these places in order. Doesn't matter which way the turtle's facing, even. Just funny, but that draws the L with the go-tos. Are there any questions about that? Does that make enough sense? If you just pre-calculate these coordinates, it's going to work out. Because then we need to move to the start of the n, which is going to be 50 over, right? It's going to be, the n starts at negative 25, negative 100. So we're going to have to go there. But again, we have the same problem as we did at the start. We need to pick our turtle up when we move to there. And then once we're there, we can put him back down, because now we're ready to start drawing the n in that location. Okay? And then it's just a matter of, okay, we're starting here, we better go up, then that way, then up. Because we're going to draw lines between where we are and where we're trying to go. That's how it works. No math library necessary. So just a bunch of goatees at this point. So we are at negative 25, 100 already. We need to go to negative 25, positive 100. And then 3 other places. Boop. Or 2 other places, sorry. Then we need to go to, from the top, we need to go down to negative 100, or 100, positive 100, negative 100. Oops. And there I was. And then once we're there, we're going to go back up to positive 100, positive 100. Okay. And that'll do it. Are there any questions about why this code draws my initials? Let me make it all visible for us. Any questions about that? Let's compare this to the code we wrote last time. I think this is a bit easier, yeah. So if we're doing okay, my last question for you is try this. I'll leave my code up for you to try it for a few minutes. Try to draw like a house or something. Draw like a little pretty house, plan out the coordinates, make a little box, make a little door, make a little window, and a roof. All that you need to do for this, right, is pick all the coordinates, right? Where do these live? Where does the door live? All that kind of stuff. Try to make something non-trivial, or try to make your initials complete your assignment while you're working on this. But that is my last challenge for you for the day. Okay, so I'll give you a few minutes to try that and ask me questions if you're having trouble. And I'll show you my code right now. But that will be our last challenge of the day. And here is how I drew the house, or how I drew my initials at least. So try to plan out those points and make something nice. of course. Oh, okay, you need to make a new file. The file means about right now you're in the ref, or you can just type a single line once. Doing all right? Alright, that's my timer. Feel free to keep playing with this. It's fun, for me at least, to use the turtle library. But that is officially all that I wanted to show you today as far as class is concerned. That is the wrong class. Yeah, no new assignments this week. We had enough to do last week.